What is up, guys? Welcome to the show. So I really been dying to shoot this video. I want to talk about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie coming out. Of course, this was a feature film, but the studio ended up selling it to Netflix. So that kind of shows you that the studio pretty much knows that this film will not make that much money. They'll make up more money selling it to a streaming company versus actually a theatrical release. Sorry about that. So right there, it shows you that the studio doesn't really believe too highly in this film. But now this film is basically a reboot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. So it actually takes place 47 years after Part 1. It takes place in real time. So basically what it is it's part 2 to the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we know that Leatherface in the original 1974 film was in his early 20s. So that would mean that now they would put him in his early 70s, which kind of makes me really want to see this movie, because how is a 70-year-old man going to chase down a group of 20-something-year-old kids? You know what I mean? Like it kind of makes me be like, really? This is gonna be really weird and just kind of very interesting for that fact. It kind of might, I'm kind of worried that it'll take that, realism that Texas Chainsaw Massacre always really had out of the film. The posters look really good for it. What I've seen of it actually looks really good so far. I'm really excited because Leatherface looks more closely to the original Leatherface, which is obviously what they're going for. I couldn't really tell that they really aged him as well as they should, but of course we'll see in the actual film if they ended up aging him appropriately to be in his 70s. So I'm really curious as to how it'll go. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm excited for it. I'm nervous for it. I think it'll be a good film just because I'm such a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. That's my favorite horror movie. Period. Nothing beats the original, of course. So we'll see how they do the reboot of the sequel. The sequel was not really good. The sequel was pretty horrible. Like when they did part 2 and that, it was a really bad sequel. So I am kind of glad that they're doing the reboot on it. I'm kind of interested in it. I'm really stoked to see what they're gonna do with it for sure. And I'm pretty surprised that they're doing it that way, as to where they're going to be doing a sequel to the part 1 and keeping it kind of more true to that story. I was surprised that they didn't just do like a full-on reboot. They're kind of doing, the Halloween thing with it, where they're just going to be like, like every Texas Chainsaw Massacre from, part 1 on, like from, 75 and whatever, never happened. 74 was the only one that actually happened, and we're going to go on with that. I'm really curious as to how they're going to do it and things like that, because previously they did try to do like, oh, my uncle was involved, or, I was a, or he was my cousin. Like I think one was, one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies was that he was one of their cousins or something like that. Like the aunt died, and then it ended up being found out that she was like the cousin of Leatherface and stuff. So I'm really glad that they're not going to do this like this. I'm really glad that they're going to just kind of do, a whole reboot on the thing, and, just kind of, be like, none of it happened. This is how it's going to go. As long as they do it really well, it could be amazing or it could be shit. But anyway, yeah, that's just the video, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and much, and I'll check you next one.